Welcome back to Last of Us Part 2. Yeah,
You monster! You absolute monster! You killed those mooks like Jennifer and that one called Alice and Sarah and Tom. No, that's the name of Joel's brother.
I'm really glad that Uncharted is now safe for Naughty Dog at least.
What? Sorry.
Oh my God, Pedro! Can you imagine how Uncharted 5 would have gone if you killed any of the bad guys, mooks? They would shout out their names and realize how Nathan Drake is going down a path of ruin.
We already tried that, and we already did that in Free, and it was a much better game than this.
Sorry guys.
Hold on. Card game. Kinnard Esquire.
No, not really, Dwarves.
80 brains, 40 brawn. So Georgina Kinnard, that's it. From the Society of Champions. A brilliant lawyer with a stringent adherence to the rule of law, Kinnard, Georgie to her friends, is the best-known defense lawyer for heroes who are accused of negligence, excessive force, destruction of property, and reckless endangerment.
The Avengers could use her.
Her notoriety has brought her a fair share of unwanted attention, but between her black belt in Aikido and having the entire Society of Champions on speed dial, most are wise enough to let her pursue justice undisturbed.
So basically this would be the equivalent on if this was Ace Attorney, it would be Nick with who would be the Society of Champions.
The Avengers.
The Avengers.
I mean, because Capcom have crossed over with Marvel, so technically Phoenix could be their defense attorney.
Yeah, the Avengers.
Yeah, I guess. Oh no, guys, I got it.
What?
I got it. He could team up with what's her name from Remember Me.
Also, screw that shit, right? Batman and Superman in the Snyderverse, those are the guys who desperately could use this woman's
Are they the ones who go on all the murder sprees that everyone should just put up with?
Yes. Like, Batman kills people mercilessly and with no hesitation in that movie, which any Batman comics fan will tell you is completely flies in the face of who Batman is supposed to be.
No, I remember when those came out, everyone was very angry.
Okay, you didn't even need to read the comics. That's the main reason why I'm planning on showing you Batman Begins. Batman Begins put it the best. Like when Liam Neeson flat out tells Bruce Wayne, like when he refuses to kill that killer, and he says, he makes that argument. To Bruce, your compassion is a virtue that your enemies will not share. And then Bruce's reply is, "That's why it's so important. It's what separates me from them."
Well, mind, he kind of forgets. Well, actually, no, it's not that one. He keeps forgetting it.
All right. That's the whole idea. The whole idea.
It was completely unrelated.
The whole idea behind Batman's no-kill rule is that he doesn't want to stoop to the level of the mugger who killed his parents, because when he goes there, he's no better than him, and that's the last thing Batman wants, He wants to. He literally became Batman so he could try to build a world, or at the very least a Gotham, where a kid can actually, get through his childhood without having his parents murdered.
Besides, I think we already are our commentaries of the Nolan Batman trilogy up on the channel, Jova?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so in case you want my thoughts on that, Matt, what's that commentary?
Anyway, so Dwibs, considering how you said what's her name from Remember Me, I'm guessing you didn't remember her name.
No,
not really. I mean, that's something I've noticed. Whenever a title or a song or anything has something in it that has something to do with "you will remember this" or "please remember me," odds are it's gonna be very forgettable. I mean, it's like they know how forgettable it is, so they have to put in the lyrics of, "Oh, please remember this," because we haven't done enough to make you remember it. I mean, I know I've mentioned it before. But it's the most but it's the best example I can think of, because it's, in my opinion, one of the most egregious I've seen in recent years. That bloody quote-unquote catchy song from Lego Movie 2.
I like that one.
I mean, it's not a bad. Well, I would actually. No, I can barely remember that. That's a song, literally called "You Won't Get This." Okay, I won't remember the exact title. It's something to do with this song won't leave your head, and
This song's gonna get stuck inside your. This song's gonna get stuck inside your. This song's gonna get stuck inside your head.
Jover, are you okay?
I'm just reciting how the lyrics are.
Anyway, to bring this back into the game, though, it's no, it both. I actually really like that idea of having a nice attorney for superheroes. That's actually pretty cool. And
I mean, if they ever reboot Ace, what?
Oh, that's the thing, Dwibs. That's the thing, Dwibs. At the time of this recording, the Ace Attorney series right now is living a very uncertain future. So,
well, to be fair, Pedro, it's not like. Well, the thing is, Pedro, first off, it's not like that's a new thing, and second, you know, I mean, unlike the previous time, there has been a compilation re-release of the original trilogy.
Oh, so, I know that.
I mean, so contrary to what. I'm not saying you specifically, but contrary to what some people would have you believe, Ace Attorney's not exactly dead, but Capcom have got a whole lot of other stuff on their plate right now. So.
I'll just say this, though. I don't blame Pedro for worrying, because one of Capcom's things is like, well, with a lot, and I do mean a lot of their franchises, they won't say it outright, but they'll kind of doom those franchises to just re-releases at best. Like, Capcom are incredibly notorious for basically just piling on the re-releases instead of giving us a new game. And don't even get me started on the poor purgatory that Darkstalkers is in.
It's primarily for the main reason, Dwibs, as well, Dwibs, that as of the time of this recording, keep in mind, audience, we don't have knowledge of who could possibly continue the story after 6, because, you know, now that Yamazaki has left Capcom, and Shutakumi, I don't even know what the hell he's doing right now. Maybe he's gonna be the one making 7. Who knows? Oh.
Like a lot of things recently, I am willing to cut, you know, Capcom, and indeed a lot of other.
Hold on, this is important to us. Yeah, why didn't they finish you off?
well, Pedro, if it doesn't matter to them, that's
exactly the thing, Dips. The game literally just put it out the plot hole and just said that doesn't matter. Just ignore it. Ignore. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
It doesn't help when you draw attention to it, Neil.
Then. The game doesn't care. Why should I? Anyway, But anyway, what was that saying?
I don't know. You're the one saying it.
Yeah, but you stopped me, and now I can't remember.
Well, that's not really my fault.
Something involving giving Capcom some slack.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it's like I said, that can apply this to a lot of people. Maybe they do have plans, maybe they don't. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world that I won't mention specifically. But you know, considering what we're in, I think a lot of people know about it by now.
Sure.
They might put a bit of they might throw a spanner into the works.
I think a bit of the issue with Capcom is that they suck at communication. Like, case in point, the Mega Man debacle. They could have basically just told us, "Hey, look for a team." Oh,
Demon's I'm wondering what Tommy is making of all this.
Again, maybe it would have been interesting if Tommy were a part of the party, just saying. But I digress.
I actually would have preferred if Tommy were Ellie's partner rather than Ellie. Rather than Dina, sorry.
It's like I said, yes, we have new characters here, but the game kind of does peanuts with them.
Yep.
Well, not counting Abby, obviously, but you know what I mean. The new characters we're supposed to partner up with and all that. Again, Dina's a flat character.
It boils down to this, Swips. To make you see just how good of a thing it was for Joel to die, they're even going to show how much of a brave, noble soul Abby is. You know, see how awesome Abby is. You see,
don't worry, Pedro. I understand. mentioned it earlier.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just this thing. It's cheap, obvious, and manipulative. It's like when a writer has to resort to turning his character into a noble, Mother freaking Teresa type character. That's when you know the writer has no idea how to make that character, how to make the audience side with the character.
We have a term for that in these old parts. It's called creator's pet. Especially when you have to do it at the detriment of other characters, because, Ellie is not the only character who gets ruined. Tommy is also on the chopping block for character assassination. And Dina,
what character is there to assassinate?
You will see, Dwibs. Let's just say, you know how Dina's trying to be supportive of Ellie? Don't get used to that.
Well, Jova, to her credit, I know which bit you're mentioning. I understand Dina's choice there, actually.
Okay. I get Dina's choice. She doesn't even really truly talk to her and kind of just does it off screen. You know what I mean, right, Pedro?
Yeah, I do. I get what you mean. Well, the idea was that I guess you can argue that was the whole idea. That I'm guessing Dina got tired of that thing that you're thinking. But
I think the problem is she should have had a scene where she calls out you-know-who on it directly and then does that big action as opposed to it being off screen, because it just makes her look like a bellend and a hypocrite at that for just running out at her, not even acknowledging that you-know-who has her own mental trauma to deal with.
Okay, now you gave me a great idea for a joke. You know what, Jova? Now that I think about it, you're right. Clearly, the game should have jumped back in time and show us Dina's perspective for like 10 hours, so you can properly see just how Dina comes to that point. Would that be okay with you, Jova?
I mean, that'd be great for like DLC or its own full game.
Keep in mind what you're saying right now, Debs, for later.
If they do it well, I should add.
What do you think of my idea, Jova? Yeah, Jova's silence says it all.
How long is this game, by the way?
25 hours.
Okay, so that would be about...
My playthrough is 44 parts in size. Yes, it's that long.
Oh, that would be 2/5 of the game if they...
It makes you think, doesn't it, Whips? Makes you think, huh?
They're gonna do that, huh? Does it do it well?
Take a wild guess.
Yeah, okay, that's the thing. Cause it's like I always say, because something can sound very daunting, like this bit's long, or this bit might seem a little out of place with everything else. Doesn't mean it can't be done well.
Well, obviously,
is when it isn't done well.
Well, obviously, Kubrick thought of this idea. Well, sorry, not Kubrick. Alexander Burgess thought of this idea of creating a novel about a teenager who goes out of his way to kill people and even rape a woman. And the book even describes it in detail. And then have the character literally have his free will taken away from him in a gruesome, torturous way, to make you ponder which specific thing was which of course makes you think.
I need time.
Go to 14 minutes real quick. 14 minutes exactly.
Okay.
You there?
I will end. Yes, I'm there.
And click. There you go. Anyway, Jova, did you hear my idea for what to do?
Yeah.
What's your?
I was trying to answer you though. The issue is that if we were checking out her perspective during that point in the game, most of it would be confined to the house regarding, JJ.
That's a good idea, Jova. That's a good point, Jova. In that case, Jova,
this game.
I know what to do. That's okay, Jova. I know what to do. I know what to do instead, Jova. Let's jump back in time and check out what Tommy has been doing throughout the 3 days.
But of course.
Let's just make it that this game never fucking ends. Now, why don't we?
Oh boy, I'm guessing that part of the game really did a number on you.
Okay. I'll just, without spoiling anything, it's the epilogue where I really started going, are you fucking serious, game? Just fucking end already. You had an ending that, yes, the game didn't earn that ending, but at the very least it would have been an ending that would at the very least have some kind of a point, you know. Things were lost, but at the same time some things were gained. But no, the game just fucking keeps going and decides to basically cram in a part 3 into the epilogue, basically. It's... oh my god.
Oh boy, I'll admit, it's like I said. You'd think that, you know, the leaked ending would have been the ending, but no, it's not. And
I get the feeling even the leakers thought it was the ending because it was just that absurd.
Yeah, like
Okay,
seriously.
Go ahead, Jobs.
Yeah, but on the subject of the leakers, though, I'm not sure if we mentioned this during the playthrough, but I'll say one thing. Regardless of whatever their reason was for leaking the game in the first place isn't cool.
Supposedly the main reason, mind you, I'm talking about the more quote-unquote noble ones, not the ones that were leaking it just to be dicks, but one of the main reasons apparently for the leaking of the game was because it was to expose Naughty Dog.
Well, actually, Java, no. We've already discussed this. Like, it was... well, actually, no, in the playthrough we haven't, so I'll bring it up.
No,
it was a bunch of hackers who basically, Jova, they found a vulnerability in one of the patches of I think it was Uncharted Lost Legacy, I think. That allowed them to get access to Naughty Dog's servers, basically. And as a result, that's where they got all the leaked footage from Naughty Dog's servers, basically.
Oh, I get that. I'm talking about the motivation behind the leak, not the methodology.
Well, from what I've heard, there wasn't much in the way of a motivation. They just did it because.
Okay, I don't even have that big of an issue. Because that kind of stuff happens all the time nowadays. It's mostly the fact that people, not necessarily the leakers, it's more the big problem was how people were going out of their way to just randomly spoil people on Twitter without even using spoiler tags or anything like that. They were just flat out.
That was definitely wrong.
Now that isn't okay. If you hate the game, by all means, I hate it too. But don't just ruin it for people who might be excited. Let them at the very least allow them to go in. Or at the very least, if you want to talk about the spoilers, use it in spoiler tags are a thing. Use them.
I mean, I would say I'm glad people have learned from that, but that Paper Mario game also got leaked recently.
Wait, Origami King got a leak of it?
Apparently.
Huh.
Really? I have not heard of this.
If I cared about that,
apparently,
it's a good thing I don't really care about that game. So whatever. Moving on.
That's actually talking about this game, though. Yeah, this escape sequence is still going. Don't get me wrong. I get that. Maybe Last of Us didn't do that, but again, well, okay, yeah, the horse is shot, sir, but it's at points like these where the plot feels kind of aimless. Like, yeah. And I get it. You know, it's the idea that the characters themselves don't know exactly how they're going to get out of this. But I don't know. It really does feel like padding in a sense.
The problem is that the first game was very narratively focused in the sense that every time something happened in the game, it was always important to the plot. It was always something that, you can never really point at anything in the first game and say, yeah, this could have been cut out. Not really, because every bit of it is always very essential to the character development, the story progression, and even just world building in general. This game, on the other hand, this game didn't need to be 25 hours long. This game could have easily been a tighter 15 hours, and it would have flowed way better. But they go so fucking hard in making you side with the surprise co-protagonist of this game, to the point of basically giving us a second campaign, and it's just absurd.
And again, we're not even really spending much of this time learning stuff about the WLF or the characters in general here. Like,
Not really, no.
yeah, I get that escape is essential, but now that the action has kind of died down, it feels a bit mundane. Hell, I mean, and I get it. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but the fact that you can still pick up stuff like trading cards and take the time to look at them kind of takes me out of the action of us supposedly needing to escape.
Well, to be fair, Jova, the game only has those kinds of collectibles in safe areas where there's nobody around.
Oh, I get that, but I mean, at this story point,
like for example,
when they're crying, it's rough.
Like for example, in here, there's no collectibles to get. There's only materials. Like there's no actual collectibles in this area because it's meant to be an enemy area. So the game does choose specifically safe areas to put the collectibles in.
Anyway, we're overhearing them talk about all that and all.
Well, that's just common NPC stuff. That's fine.
Oh, I get that. But what I mean is well, again, I get it. Escape can't be immediate, but because it doesn't really feel like it really. Like you said, it doesn't really contribute anything to the plot. Now, granted gameplay sequence, so I guess we could chalk this up to better to play than it is to watch. But again, Last of Us never did feel like it was automatically better to play than it was to watch. Like it felt so well paced out here and there, gameplay sequences and all. Yeah,
it's all about the bad pacing. Yeah, that's the primary problem. The game doesn't do a good enough job in engaging you story-wise, so it becomes a lot harder to tolerate.
Curious, Shiroi and Dibs, what do you guys think of the pacing so far?
It's a bit erratic, to be honest.
Oh, you think it's erratic?
You think it's bad now? We haven't even gotten to the point where most people have actually complained about.
We haven't even gotten to the part where the pacing shits the bed.
I know, right? Like, okay, consider how you're feeling about the pacing now. Get ready to have those things cast aside for, well, pretty much dislike. Again, even people who like this game at some point lose their patience with the padding of this game.
It's also like you said, Jovi, like even Young said it in his review, like there's a lot of moments and there's a lot of big sections in this game where you don't really feel like you've learned anything. It never feels like there's been major plot progression or major character development. Like
Bob!
Oh no, Bob! No, not Bob!
See, you can take it even less seriously when his name is Bob, okay?
And how she shrieked like that.
There are some who call me Tim.
Wow, he's literally sobbing out. We get it. We killed your mates. Okay, sorry. Continue.
And you're that too.
He takes all that time to scream. Shouldn't he be gasping?
But don't you see? But don't you see, Joba? It's so you can see how you're literally killing a real person. Look how much pain you're inflicting on these people you're killing. Look how evil you are.
How hokey can you get?
I know, right?
Sorry, you were saying, Shirai?
I don't think she was saying anything. What?
No, I finished what I wanted to say.
Oh, never mind. Then go on, Pedro.
It's because it's like there's no major plot progression. There's no major character development throughout a lot of it. Granted, the second half of the game with the surprise co-protagonist is, I would argue, slightly better paced in the sense that there's more stuff going on at the very least, and there's not as much meandering as in Ellie's half. So I'll give it that. But let's just say, while there's a lot more story-heavy stuff in Abby's campaign, oops, did I just spoil it? Whatever. I
mean, to be fair, it's kind of obvious Abby's going to have a bit of a campaign, considering how they had us play as her anyway.
Well, fuck it. But let's just say Abby's story is, like I've said in the previous part, like, I hesitate to even call that a character arc.
It's character upheaval is what it is.
It reminds me. it's something that's more akin to my problem. We were talking about the Lion King before. It's kind of similar to the big problem I have with Simba's quote unquote character arc, in the sense that where Nala even says, "What happened to you? You're not the Simba I've once known." And even me and Shiroi talked about this when we watched the live action remake. No, he's always been an irresponsible asshole. That's how he got you into that elephant graveyard. This idea that Nala says, "Where you're not the Simba." No, actually, Simba has always been an irresponsible asshole. Nala. The only difference between then and now is that now he's lazier.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So not really. It's a similar thing with Abby, in the sense that they reset her character in the way that, let's just say, they make her switch allegiances at the drop of a hat for no good reason, and that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I will also.
It's clearly a case of the writers being. They don't want to do the legwork needed to earn a character switching allegiance. Sorry.
Here's what I don't get. You don't want to do that legwork, yet considering how long this game is,
you'd think they would, right?
They not.
There's so much meandering in this fucking game. You'd think they would do that. Also, why the fuck? Oh wait, is this the part where we get the lesbian porno novel? I don't remember if it. Yeah, I think it is. Shiroi.
Yes.
Don't go away. I need you to comment on something that's coming up.
Oh God. Okay.
Is now really the time for us to be focusing on a lesbian porn?
Hey, the game. The game.
That's not the time for half the shit that's going on.
Hey, the game put that collectible there. I'm gonna get it. Okay.
Again, I get it. Collectible, but. For a game that focused so much on story as Last of Us did, again, I don't in the original Last of Us, I don't recall us picking up one of those comic books while we were literally fleeing for our lives.
Well, to be fair, we're not doing that right now. We're not running away for our lives right now. So. Well,
to be fair, literally a few seconds ago, we were in a shootout here. For all the characters know, there could be more nearby. Again, like I said, this section of the game is supposed to be more tense as they make their escape. Because
if it helps you, Jova, the game doesn't allow you to collect collectibles while you're in battle. You have to first kill all the enemies first. So.
Fair enough. It's just, I point out how it feels kind of jarring, how literally minutes at best after they were fleeing and fighting for their lives, do they all of a sudden calm down?
I think it's now. Hold on, Jova. Yeah, here we go. Listen here. Right. This is amazing. Check this out. I'm going to read it. Sure. I'm going to read it. Right. Check this out.
Sure.
So.
Sorority secrets.
Oh
my God.
An initiation beyond her wildest dreams.
Oh God!
By Jessica Rowell. So let's see. So is Helga ready to know the secrets of the coveted sorority? For Helga, the most important part of college was pledging to Omega Theta Pi, just as their mother had 20 years earlier. It was going to open every door for her and introduce her to a world of men who could give her the glamorous life of her dreams. Helga had legs for days and a smile that twinkled. Every fraternity man vied to take her out Friday nights, but none of them could fulfill her needs, and she came back to the house still craving. Fortunately, there was her sisterhood. At the sorority house, Helga found not just satisfaction, but an education in the hands of her big sister, Beth. She knew that what a woman's body wanted better than any man. In the showers, cuddled up in a twin bed, the women discovered a world of pleasure. This is the door Helga never knew she needed opened.
Oh my God. So it's basically just erotica, okay.
Yeah, stay focused.
Shiroi, what...
Escape and stay focused at least.
So Shiroi, what do you think of this lesbian pornographic novel?
I like how we had a lesbian pornographic novel and there's fucking rainbows painted on the crosswalks just right here.
Subtle, very subtle.
Was that on purpose or was it just this?
Remember, Shiroi, remember, remember, Shiroi, we're trying to be LGBT representative and blah 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 and whatever.
Not only that, Shiroi, but
yeah,
this game did happen to get released on Pride Month.
True. Yeah.
and I feel betrayed. Anyway,
Well, I mean,
Sure,
plenty of plenty of these kinds of stories get released during Pride Month.
Sure.
yeah,
thing
it's
that really
kind of just a coincidence, you know.
The only thing
just
that
say-
really differs is execution.
I'll just say it right now, Shiroi, if you feel betrayed now, wait until you see one of the ways the game tries to get us to like Abby, because that is one of
I
the
think
biggest pounds of
We've
contention.
already discussed that.
No,
since Pedro asked-
Shiroi already knows about the character that Abby meets later on, Joe.
Yeah,
but
I'm aware of all this.
that's a character that Shiroi has a lot to talk about in particular. But anyway,
Yeah, since Pedro asked, I mean that's all fine because you know it's just general erotica, I guess.
I actually don't mind that. I think it's hilarious, to be honest. I think it's a really funny joke, to be honest.
Well, honestly, it's like a lot of like because it's sorority stuff. I'm guessing it's aimed at young adults because isn't sorority stuff like a college thing, Jova? Because we don't have those here, so that's like a college. So yeah, this is probably aimed for young adults and people in their early 20s. So it's like, that stuff's pretty common. The only thing I find weird is that, okay, I get the whole sisterhood thing, but referring to your lover as your big sister is a bit weird. Like that's the only bit I find questionable.
Maybe
that'd be like if is it the equivalent? Is it like when you have sex with someone?
Well, Shiroi.
Why you're doing it? You keep saying, "Oh, Tati, oh, Tati."
Well, Shiroi, it's a college fraternity.
That's how else do you think Pepper and George Pig were conceived? I mean, the characters are literally called.
Shiroi.
Oh my god!
I don't know, Shiroi.
Yes, Pedro.
I don't know, Shiroi. Considering it's a college fraternity, I get the feeling you're not meant to take sister in the literal sense.
I know, it's just a little weird because, again, we don't have that context over here. So, like, hearing this as a Brit, it comes off as a bit weird. I do get what they're doing, though.
Okay. The context is like, well, some fraternities refer to their members as brothers, and sororities sometimes refer to their members as sisters.
It's not meant to be blood relation brother. He means like brother in other ways the term is used.
Yeah.
Brotherhood or sisterhood.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's not meant to be that at all. So
I know. It's just a bit strange.
So literally, one of the best bouts of entertainment I've gotten out is reading the description of
a lesbian pornographic novel. Yes. Can we read that actually, Neil?
No, it's sad. That's better than the. No, it's sad.
I don't know, Shiroi. I don't know, Shiroi. The premise already sounds a lot more interesting than this one.
I don't trust Neil to write like normal gay relationships anymore, let alone erotic stuff.
Oh, but what are you talking about, Shiroi? He's got a gay couple in mind for this game.
Yeah, look at Ellie and Dina.
I'm really.
Here's all I know.
Actually, voice us your thoughts on this relationship since you haven't actually voiced about your thoughts yet. Go ahead, Libs.
Okay, they're a couple. They like to do the same things together.
Actually, they're not even a couple yet. They just have had sex.
They are actually. They're now officially a couple.
They are a couple. Never mind. Then go on.
That shadow looks like a face. Look at it. There's a noise in a mouth. Look at that shadow. Real quick, Joe. Don't worry. I'll get back to you. Look at that. There's a nose, a mouth. That shadow looks like whatever. Go ahead.
They have dark hair. That's something they have in common.
Goody.
They like talking to each other in a flirtatious way.
They had sex. They like wheat.
They've shagged each other.
And that may have led to Joel getting killed, because if they hadn't been having sex, they may have just said to Tommy and Joel, "No, I'm not going to let that go," because it was literally the characters being narratively stupid when they shouldn't have been.
And one more difference.
They like one is brown hair, one is black hair, just like the girls in the novel.
They like pornographic novels.
Yep. Steven Universe wishes it had gay couples as awesome as this was.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because Ellie and what's her name?
Dina.
Yeah, it's sad when I can name more. I can name more stuff from a couple that literally are holograms of books than whatever this game's trying to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, more hijinks to ensue when we eventually get out of this city, or this plot will just continue to stagnate.
Indeed.
How many
So
more parts are left?
it's 44 parts in total, Dwebs.
Oh,
So we are 2 parts away from being a quarter through this game.
Dwebs, you are now what you're feeling right now, Dwebs, is the LO2 experience. That's the LO2 experience. Ugh.
yeah, but Pedro, you left out the use. What is this? Is this game called Last of 2?
Last of 2 plots smushed
I
together.
said LOU. So
no. No, he's right. You did say LO2 actually.
okay,
No,
LOU2.
I heard LOU.
I heard LO2.
Fine, I'll specify.
Okay, we'll see you next time for 2.
Yes.
Yes.
See ya, everybody.
Let's see.
See ya.